Okay, so, yes, Ashley Bates, our first guest this morning. Thank you, Ashley, for being our first guest this morning. It's that thing that, when we got the first guest on, right? It's like it's early in the morning.
Yeah.
So you know that it feels like he's a kindred spirit. We've been up since 5, and Ashley's probably been up not long after that. He's had a remarkable
Don't you worry
year.
about Ashley, mate. He's a teacher. He's up
Yeah,
at
that's
5
true.
every
Actually,
day.
he's every day. Yeah, and sitting marking till late
It's
at
only us
night.
entertainment people that think 8 o'clock's really early.
Yeah, 8 o'clock's the middle of the. No, it's not the middle of the night. Actually, it's 3 o'clock's like late in the evening. 8 o'clock's the middle of the night. Right. Let me tell you about Ashley. During the first lockdown, he converted his unused shed to live stream classes every day. He did English and maths, particularly for kids aged from 5 to 8. And in the process, he created the Shed School. And the Shed's returning. Tomorrow morning, he'll be broadcasting again. And this time, it's something really special. So good morning, Ashley.
Good morning. Good morning.
How are you? See, this isn't early for you, is it, being a teacher?
I'm used to this. I'm up. I've had a coffee.
there you
I've done
go.
loads of things.
David, he's an achiever.
Yeah, that's right. What? Yeah.
So tell us about, for those people that haven't heard of the Shed School, tell us how it all happened and where it is.
So back in March, when lockdown kind of first happened, I work as a primary school teacher up in London. And obviously our school shut, same as everybody else's across the country. I got home and I was just really worried about what was going to happen with my kids and everyone else's children. So I kind of looked around the house and thought what jobs I needed to do. And right at the back of our house, as you do, as everyone did, thought up to my shed and thought, you know what, I could do with really clearing that out. Cleared all the rubbish out of it and then thought, I wonder what I could do with this space. And actually, there was a family next door that said, Mr. Bates, do you think you could teach us some lessons during this lockdown period? Light bulb moment. Yeah, I think I could. And actually, let's turn this into a bit of a live TV station, this little shed, and broadcast to everybody. And that's how it came about, really.
That's extraordinary. And very quickly, lots and lots of people started watching, right?
Yeah, it started off with just kind of friends and family and people that we knew kind of online on Facebook and on YouTube. And it spiraled. We now kind of have thousands of people watching.
Why do you think, because there was lots of stuff going on like this online, what do you think it was about your Shed School that made people just link with it?
I think the main thing and a lot of the feedback we got was the structure. A lot of these things were online, which were kind of videos, and you could watch them, which are brilliant. But you know what kids are like; they kind of get distracted, they get bored. They don't have that interaction with these kind of just online videos. With what we were doing, it was kind of making something that they could actually join in with and actually have that regular, right? Or every day at 10 o'clock, we're going to be here for English, and every day we're going to be here for some maths as well. And it was that kind of back and forthness, that kind of we could talk to each other and they could join in and they felt like they were part of something.
Ashley, can I just ask you, because now obviously schools are back and they have been back for a few months, but if you think about this, okay, a telephone from the 60s looked nothing like a phone today. Cars from the 70s look nothing like cars today. And yet if you take a picture or see a picture of a classroom in 1920, it looks pretty much like a classroom in 2020. Did this make you start thinking about perhaps the way that young people interface with education could be entirely different?
I think, it's made us, it has to made us do that, hasn't it? It has to made us look at the way that education is and, do we need to modernise a lot of things in the classroom? Is this going to be a normality now going forward of children having to stay at home and isolating? We need to think about how can we have like online lessons.
But having said that, most teachers that I speak to a lot of teachers, do a lot of work with education. They are wanting to bring that creativity into the classroom, but it's the DFE, isn't it? It's that from higher up, you have to hit all these targets and it has to be done in a certain way. And it's how do we somehow break free of the structure and convince the DFE that actually there are other ways of doing it, and they in some ways may engage children, especially young children like this, more.
Yeah, absolutely. I think lots of children kind of do use things like iPads and computers and stuff at home anyway.
Yeah.
And it's that kind of, well, if there's an online platform where they can engage in it, where there's a live teacher, obviously the only thing they're lacking is not the play element. That's the one bit that you kind of, it's that interaction that they really, really need, especially at a young age. But it definitely works as a fantastic substitute one when that play element can't be done.
You mentioned earlier about children being able to interact with what you're doing, and then you're picking up on that, aren't you, with this next idea that you've got, I noticed. So tell us about what's happening next.
Yeah, so we ran the lessons all the way over the summer, and then obviously being a teacher, I had to go back to
proper
work. Yeah, I had to go back to my class.
The real world.
Yeah, so I kind of had to go back into that, it was like, okay, well, Shed School's got to be put on pause. But we had so many parents and people messaging saying, look, we really enjoyed it. It really helped us over lockdown. Do you think you could do something else? So I said, well, yeah, let me have a think. And we kind of came back saying, well, what are schools not offering as much of at the moment? And it was the mental health side. It was that kind of helping children with their anxiety. And my class and lots of the classes at the school where I am, the children are really suffering with that kind of concern about rules and regulations and all these new things that they've never had to worry about before. So the new Shed School, is all about building resilience. It's all about empowering children to be kind of confident and not to worry about life, and just kind of getting rid of all those anxieties that come with being a child.
How do you teach that? How are you actually putting that message across?
So we're doing a number of things. I think the main one that we're doing is trying to highlight that the world is full of anxieties, and it's not something that's new. It's something that's kind of we've had for a long time, and how we build up a resilience against that, how we can be stronger. So showing examples of people in real life that have kind of powered through things and got past things. We've got a yoga. We're doing some yoga in the shed to build up that kind of state of
How big is
being.
this shed? It's suddenly grown in my head. It would definitely you wouldn't have been able to do yoga so it's clearly big.
I was going to say, it sounds like a shed come leisure centre.
Yes, it's huge, my back garden. It's absolutely massive.
What you haven't mentioned is you got a sponsorship, and the local leisure centre has just attached itself to your shed.
Yes, exactly.
So where do we tune in to watch this stuff, and is aimed at which age group?
So it's aimed at children of Key Stage 1, 5 to 8, but we have children kind of all primary school age, really. It's up online. It's on YouTube and Facebook. We've got all the platforms. It's streamed live. It'll be on tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. That'll be streamed onto Facebook and onto YouTube. And all the information is on our website, theshedschool.co.uk.
And could I ask you one question before you go?
Sure.
Right. How has this changed you?
God, that's a good
Because
question.
we talked about how education's changed. You've obviously, look, you've been nominated for the Daily Telegraph Lockdown Hero Award. You've won like a Lockdown Repurposed Award. When you entered 2020, none of this was even on the horizon. So how has doing this and the impact of it affected you and broadened your horizons?
I think for me, it's allowed me to realise that I can help people and children a lot easier than I thought I ever could. I think it's obviously being a teacher, you kind of do help in the classroom, but actually that your skills are transferable, and I never thought I could transfer that into something that's probably wider and bigger, and pulling on more of the skills that I have to make something that lots of other people can enjoy as well. I think it's knowing that I can do something bigger than I thought I could.
That's brilliant, Ashley. You're more than you thought you were. Thank you so much for what you've done, and thanks for coming and talking to us this morning.
That's Ashley Bates from the Shed School.